All right. Welcome back, Emily. Sorry about that. Welcome in, Rose. Hopefully everyone comes back. We'll give them a few minutes. I had it come on and it just wasn't responding, so and I didn't want it to say, okay, well, you're not using it and shut it off. Hey, Judy. All right, Cherry, there you are. Hopefully Moonchild comes back in. I'm going to be using a couple different colors of worsted weight in my hexagon cardigan. Normally they change colors every 2 rounds. I am not going to change colors that often, but if you want to, I will tell you how and where to do your color change. And this sweater, I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. Took a little early nap and it kind of ran over a little bit and I was like rushing to get down here and get everything started. So, yeah. Thank you for the follow in sync. Is this a new account or backup? If it's a backup, I'll have to follow you too. Because I thought you followed me already. Oh, okay, the crochet or the knitting one. Yes. So we're going to do a crochet one today. We like to be all inclusive with our crafts over here. So we're going to have a knit and a crochet along going here, side by side. Oh, I keep a book with all of mine in because I can't remember them either. So yeah, you should be able to recover that, hopefully, without too much issue. Oh, you saw the video where I had finished up my 2 inches? Yeah, I wanted to keep going because I kept feeling on that as I was knitting. I kept feeling like this with my other fingers. It was so soft, I couldn't stand it. So I'm hoping Moonchild comes back in. I didn't see her come in unless she snuck in. Most of the apps have a forgot password link. And I don't know if you had any backup set up to where, they could send you something to an alternate email or whatever. Or to your own email. Okay, I've got mine done too. Okay, you started your Hexie on Monday. Okay. Well, you'll be able to follow along with us if you like. Well, I was hoping that Moonchild was coming back in. I don't like it when I have issues with this, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So, to fasten my crochet hook on, I am using worsted weight yarn. And, yes, you can do a hexie in one color. You don't have to change the colors. Just keep on going. No access to emails. Oh, okay. All right, that'll do it. That'll do it. You have to restore your emails if they're old and deleted emails. Make sure that when you start up a new email and decide not to use another one, that you change that in your apps before you let go of usage of that email. But sometimes we don't think about that. I've had that happen before too. So, I'm using a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. You do not have to use one that small. I just like for my holes to be minimized, even though this is the granny stitch and it is going to have some holes in it. You can use whatever size crochet hook you want. Now, using this size crochet hook, it is going to really make mine heavy, so I might go up because I don't want it to be like a weighted coat. So I think I may go up in my hook size to at least a G. Let me see what they call for on here. They call for an I. Still, that's awfully big. So I'm just going to go up to a G hook. I think this one is my G hook. Nope, that's an I hook. So maybe we will use the I hook. It'll be airy, but it will be light because it won't be as compact. Oh, okay. Oh, you still keep them. Yeah. After a certain amount of time of them being inactive, I think they kind of delete them off anyway. So, all right, now to fasten your string onto your crochet hook for all the new crocheters who are coming. Cheryl, thank you for the follow. I normally do a slip knot, but if you're new and don't know how to do a slip knot, if you take it and wrap it around your crochet hook and tie it like you would tie your shoes twice, tie it like that once, and then tie it a second time, it will secure on. Okay. Or you can do a slip knot. Now, the way I do a slip knot requires 4 of my fingers here. I hold my tail between the thumb and ring finger, and I wrap these 2 fingers here and form an X. When I flip this over on this side, I just hold it right here. So actually, we're going to do a magic circle here. We're going to go under the first string, grab the second string and pull it through. And we are going to turn our hook upwards so that we have something that looks like this. Then we are going to come over here to this little string that we had secured under our pinky and pull up a loop and pull it right through that loop on our hook. Now we can drop everything. You do not want to untangle or untwist any of this. This is going to allow you to pull this string to tighten up this circle. All right, NSYNC, have a good day. So we are going to be doing a double crochet. This is going to be fun for me because I like doing a half double. So we are going to chain 3, 2, 3. That is going to be the first double crochet. We are going to do 2 more double crochets in here. Yarn over first. Put your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time. And I think I made that kind of big, so I'm going to go back here and do this over. This hook might be way too big for me. I think it is. I'm going to change it out right now because I already feel it. There's my G hook. We'll use that one. That I hook's a little too big. So I'm going to start my chains over again because they'll be oversized because different size hook. It's 1, 2, and 3. Is everyone okay to this point? If there is anyone who cannot do the magic circle, let me know and I will start this over so you can see exactly how we started. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. We are going to yarn over. Do it again. Okay, start over from the beginning here. Magic circle. I take the tail end of my yarn and hold it between my thumb and my ring finger. Hey Moonchild, we're getting ready to do the magic circle. I was hoping you came back in. It kept telling me, an error kept popping up that TikTok wasn't responding. It said close the app or wait, and it just kept popping up. I'm like, nope, I don't want to get into this, and then they shut it down because I'm not telling it to wait. And then everything is just gone. So, hold my yarn between. Jerry, thank you. Hold my yarn between my thumb and my ring finger. We're going to take it and wrap it around the index and middle finger here. And then we're going to come back around and make an X. Then we're going to flip our hand over just like this. And we're going to secure that right there just like that, very lightly. Oh, you got to save some for me. Okay, now we're going to take our crochet hook. We are going to go under the first string and we are going to grab the second string with our hook, pull it through, take and twist your hook up the other way. I should have pulled it through a little bit further before I twisted my hook. Okay, all right. Now once you've got the hook twisted like this, you're going to reach over here and grab a hold of this string here and pull it through that loop that we just made. Sometimes this can be a little hard because your hands are all, there we go. Now we can drop our fingers out and we have a nice little, oh, it looks like a lasso. This will weave in here, do not pull it out, leave it there. We're going to work over this to get our hexagon started here. So what we're going to do is we have to have stitch height. So we're going to chain 3 because we're going to use double crochets. If you choose to use half doubles or trebles, you sure can. That will just replace the double crochets. You might not want to use singles because the granny stitch doesn't come out too well in single crochets. So we are going to do 2 more double crochets right here in this circle next to this chain 3, which will count as our first double crochet. So we yarn over, go into the circle, pull up a loop. You'll now have 3 loops on your crochet hook. 3 loops. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time. Okay? Again, so yarn over, into the circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops at a time. Now we have our first cluster. We are going to chain 2, which is just a yarn over and pull the loop through. That's 1, there's 2. Okay? So we are going to repeat this process again here with 3 double crochets because we're not going to chain again. That was just to get started. So yarn over and do 3 more double crochets in that same circle. If anyone needs any assistance or is not quite grasping the double crochet, please let me know and I will slow down and show you the stitch. I do have tutorials in here in case you need them for later. We are going to repeat this process a total of 6 times. So we should have 6 clusters and 6 2s in between each cluster. So I'm going to set this down here for just a minute. Let everybody catch up. Thank you. I had to get a little water break. Welcome in, Michael. So I'm going to continue on. I have to do my chain 2 here. And again, double crochet, yarn over, go into your circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. This is going to be fun for me because I don't use the double crochet a whole lot. You'll probably see me doing half double crochets, which would be just fine. My yarn's squeaking over here. Okay, do a chain 2. Just continuing on with the 3 double crochets and a chain 2. You're going to do that 6 times total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to do it one more time. Here's my 5th chain 2. Now we're going to do the last 3 double crochets and a chain 2. When you get done, it'll look something similar to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll have 6 clusters, and you'll have a chain 2 in between each cluster. Mimi's house, welcome in. So now at this point, if everyone is to this point, you don't have to take your crochet hook out. I'm just going to, for visual purposes here. Now to close this up, we are going to pull this tail, okay? Hold on to your stitches above where you've crocheted over these 2 strings. You don't want to hold it on the strings. You'll have a hard time pulling it through. So I normally hold it right above that ring, and I will pull it slowly so it closes that hole up. It will close that hole up as tight as you want it to. I can close it all the way up so you can't even see through it. And what I do at this point, because you will continue to pull that thing shut if you don't weave it in and lock it in now. So I'm going to take my yarn needle, thread it onto that tail, and because we are coming this way, we pulled our yarn this way, I'm going to go around this way just a little bit more. I'm going to go underneath of these stitches right here, not all the way through to the front, but you can see I went underneath the stitches there a little bit, and I'm going to pull that tight to get the tail out. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it. I'm not going to go right back underneath of where I came out from. Get this to zoom in on this a little better. There we go. Don't want to come right out from where I came out from. I want to come a stitch or 2 back over, and we are going to go back past where we came out before we'd moved it the first time. Weaving it this way and then weaving it back gives friction on the yarn. Hey Barbie, so that it doesn't pull out. Okay. I've got a lot of people jumping on here wanting to battle me. I don't do battles. This is a crochet along. We are not here to battle for gifts. Sorry. Okay, so now we've got it closed up. We can snip this off. I don't always snip it really short because when it goes into the wash, everything relaxes. And I like to have a little bit in case I need to weave back in. So I'm going to leave that much. And I clip all these ends off after washing. Good morning, Valerie. So I'm going to put my crochet hook back in here, and you have something that resembles a stop sign almost. Okay? Looks just like that. You can see your little chain 2 spaces here in the corners, the little gaps. Okay, now we are going to join this together with a slip stitch. You're going to isolate off right here that chain 3 that you did in the beginning. See our chain 3 right here? And we are going to go into the top of the chain 3, which is up here. And we are going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then take that loop right through the loop on our hook. And we have just done a slip stitch, and we have secured those rounds together. Yes, this can be machine washed because it is acrylic yarn. Now, wool and other things like that, other different contents, you have to check your yarn label for the care. You want to make sure that if you're using wool, it's super washed, so you can put it in the wash. If not, it has to be hand washed. Yes, I wash these. I have washed this in the machine, And it will relax a little bit because everything does relax when it gets wet and dries, but these never come out. I have done swatch after swatch after swatch and put them on heavy duty in the wash machine so they really get beat around in there and they don't come out. They don't come out. So now we are going to work in this first space here. So of course we have to have our chain 2 to move over to here. So once we chain 2, we are going to, almost like working a granny square if you're familiar with granny squares, but we have 6 clusters instead of 4. So in here we are going to do 3 double crochets. So I've already done my yarn over. We are going to do 3 double crochets in here. And because this is a corner, we are going to chain 2, and we are going to do 3 more double crochets in that same space. So again, yarn over into the space, pull up a loop, yarn over and go through 2 loops at a time. Again, if anyone needs help with the double crochet, please let me know. I will slow down and instruct further. Now, because this is not going to be a corner, we do not put chain 2 in here. We come right over here to this next corner. Okay? That's where we're developing bulk in the granny square or the granny stitch for the hexagon. Hey, Tullamore. So we are going to no chains. Immediately yarn over to perform our next double crochet, and we move over to the next space here. And we are going to do 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. There's the first set of 3 double crochets. We are going to do our chain 2, and we are going to do 3 more double crochets in the same space. If you have anybody here that is new to crochet, please let me know, because we've probably done lost you at this point. I wanted to make sure, should have made sure. If I need to, I can start over with another piece of yarn to get you started. I do not want to leave anybody behind. Pebble Rain, thank you for the follow. Okay, now again, we're not going to chain 2 because this is not going to be a corner. This is going to be a side. So over here to the next space, yarn over, and we are going to do 3 double crochets. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Now we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do 3 more double crochets. Okay, and we're going to do this all the way back around to where we started. Ladybug, did you miss the beginning? I can pull out another skein of yarn here and show you how to get started and get you caught back up. This will be on YouTube. Oop, should have said YT. And we start out with a magic circle. Are you familiar with crochet, Ladybug? First off, let me make sure that you're familiar. Okay. Okay, you're familiar with it. I just had to get a drink. So we're going to start out with the magic circle, however you're used to doing it, if you're familiar. If not, I will show you again how I do it. I hold the tail between my thumb and ring finger. I take this yarn and go over my index finger under my ring finger, come back over the index finger making an X, turn it over here, and hold it right there on my ring finger with my pinky. Okay, you know how to do the magic circle. We'll get the magic circle started. Just a little bit of description for those who may be lost that, you know, didn't jump up in the comments. And come over here, grab that loop, pull it through that loop. Now, from this point, you are going to chain 3, which is your stitch height for a double crochet. If you want to use a half double crochet, you're only going to chain 2. If you're using a treble crochet, you're going to chain 4. Okay, so because I'm using the double, we're going to go ahead and do a chain 2. And from here, we are going to do 2 double crochets and a chain 2. That will make our first cluster. Because the chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. Then we're going to chain 2, and we are going to repeat that a total of 6 times around this circle. So 3 double crochets and a chain 2 6 times. Once you get that done, you're going to secure that row together in the top of your chain 3 with a slip stitch. Thank you, Sashi, for the share. Everyone is welcome to come and crochet with us today. Okay, and then once you get that done, it's just, let me know when you get that done. 6 times, honey. 6 times. So your next cluster from this one would be 3 double crochets and a chain 2. Okay. You'll have 6 clusters around your ring. Let me know when you get the 6 done, and then I'll tell you how to do the second row. Thank you for the follow, Francis. Welcome in, Lorraine and Linda. We're working on a hexagon cardigan. We are just on the second row, so if anyone wants to join us, if you're crochet savvy, thank you for the follow, Ladybug. Eminence, welcome in. Amina T, welcome in. Mark, welcome in. Kimmy. Ladybug, when you get to the second row, let me know. Is that a little minion face? I don't know what that is. Hello, welcome in. Welcome in, tall man. So Ladybug, on your second row, you are going to chain 3, or actually chain 2. I think we only did a chain 2 right here to start. And in each space, you're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. When you skip from one space to the other, there is no chain 2 here in between. You're only putting your chain 2s in the chain 2 corners. Good morning, tall man. Good morning. There's a tall man. So we are going to continue on with this. No. Let me take you back here to the beginning of mine. Everyone else, if you're okay, just sit tight for a second. And I'm going to come back here to the beginning. What I did was I chained 2 to get started because we need to come up off of the base of the square. I came over to my first space here. You're going to do 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets in that space. Okay, there's my 3 double crochets, there's my chain 2, and there's 3 more double crochets. And again, if anybody needs to see a double crochet performed, please let me know. I will definitely slow down, show you how to do a double crochet, and then we're going to repeat this process in each space, Ladybug. There will be no chain 2 when we go to the next space. So when you finish the second 3 double crochets in your space, you immediately go over here and start with your double crochets. No chain 2 in between. So in each space around, we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. There's my 3 double crochets. Now we are going to jump right over here to this space, do our yarn over, and go right in for our double crochets, 3 of them. Now our chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets in that same space. And if I'm not mistaken, normally after 2 rounds, you're doing a different color. So I'm not going to change my colors that often, but if you want to change colors after this round here, I will show you exactly where to do your color change so your colors don't bleed through to the next row. Chain 2. 3 more double crochets, and I'm just working this pattern around the rest of this row here back to where we started. I am going to get to the first color change. For anybody who's adventurous that wants to work ahead, you're more than welcome. Anyone who needs extra assistance, when we stop the live for the day, I will not work any further on my piece so that I am right where anybody who wants to wait until next week will be. So that way I'll at least get you through the first color change here. Alright, we have one more space right here, and we are going to do again the 3 double crochets. A chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. There's the third one, and we are going to come right here and connect into the top of this double crochet right here, which was the first double crochet we did to start the row. Right here. Now a slip stitch, you're going to put your crochet hook in through the stitch, and I do have both legs, as you can see, both legs here of the stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull a loop through, and then I'm going to pull it directly through the loop on my hook. And we have done 2 rows of your hexagon. Okay, now if you wanted to change color on this row, we're going to back up here. I probably should have told you that before. I do believe they change the colors every 2 rows. When you do your slip stitch, you're going to drop this color and you're going to pick up your other color. I am going to grab this just for show because I'm going to do a little bit more of that white before I change my colors. Mine's going to be striped, but it's going to be a little differently striped. Now, when I add a color in, I fold the yarn back over, leaving about 3 or 4 inches again of tail from here so that I can weave it in. When I fold it over, it makes a little loop at the top when you pinch it. So when I go in here to do my slip stitch, I will pull this through. Okay, pull this one right on through. Now you're going to see this loop stretch because there's nothing holding this one down. Don't worry, it's okay. Alright, now once I get that loop through there, I will put these 2 together. You can tie these 2 together if you like to secure them back here until you weave them in. Just take them and do a little like you're going to tie your shoestring. And that's enough to hold it right there while you work your way around. Okay? Rachel, we're not doing 6 double crochets in one spot. Let me do a little bit of a visual here for you. Let me pull this blue back out here because that's not the color that I'm going to use. Okay, when you start out in your first space, you're going to have 3 double crochets, a chain 2, 3 double crochets. Now, when you skip over to this next space here, there are no chains here. So you have 3 double crochets in this space, and then you're going to come over here and do these 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same space. Then you're going to go over to the next space, no chain 2 here. Okay, all right. Sometimes it's just a visual of me showing you the 3 and the 2. If anybody needs, please just put it right up in the comments and I will see it. I'm really paying extra attention to the comments as we're doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and put my slip stitch back in here because I'm not changing color. If anyone needs more assistance on changing color, let me know. I'm going to work a couple more rows of this, probably 2 more, and then I'm going to change a color. And I'm not going to change it as often. So what I'm going to do is grab that next color so that I have it over here. Again, I was running a little behind getting ready for today. So I definitely do not have everything out that I need out. I'm going to have fun trying to find, here it is. So I'm doing these in the same colors that I did my comfiest cardigan in because I really like that color scheme together. And we're going to do the same with this. So I'm going to do 2 more rounds. We're going to do the same, pretty much, it's going to get repetitious, but there's the space in between where we put our chain 2s is going to get further and further. Okay, so if everyone's ready, okay, you're all caught up. Becky fell asleep. You missed the start. Becky, are you crochet savvy? Are you familiar with the magic circle? Yeah, you can make a hexagon blanket out of this. You sure can. If you don't want to make a cardigan, you can make a hexagon blanket out of this. Once you get the pattern down, you just keep going until it's as big as you want it to be. Okay, you're going to start out with a magic circle, and you're going to do just like you do for granny squares, but instead of 4 clusters to start, you're going to have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters. with a chain 2 in between each one. So in your magic circle, you're going to do 3 double crochets and a chain 2 6 times. And then once you get that done, Becky, we went through the second round. You're doing a 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in each space. There are no chain 2s in between when we transition from one space to the next space. Rebecca, for a 2 or 3X, you're going, and it depends on if you want the big bell sleeves. If you don't want the big bell sleeves, you're going to have to lay it across your body and see how big you want your sleeves. If you want the big bell sleeves, it's going to be about 25 rows. And that's using a larger crochet hook than what I'm using, so it might be more than 25 rows. And again, like I said, it depends on if you want your sleeves to be big and belled or if you want normal sleeves. If you want normal sleeves, I'm going to tell you where to stop. So I might work a second hexagon just so when our hexagon gets bigger, I will show you through a video how you will lay this on your body to see how big the armhole is going to be and where to stop if you don't want the big armholes. So I will do that as our hexagon gets bigger. I can actually do a video and show you on a baby doll how to check. And I can do that probably later next week, maybe once it gets a little bigger. So the next round, again, we have to bring our stitches up off of the baseline here, the very bottom here. So we're going to do just a chain 2, just to bring it up. Now over here, we're going to start off again with 3 double crochets, and we are in a corner space. So we're going to do our 3 double crochets. And then we're going to chain 2 and do 3 more double crochets right in the same space. Okay, now notice that the chain 2s are only in the corner spaces. Okay, we're going to come up on some spaces here on the sides that are not corners. Okay, these are our corners. You can see the obvious peak of your corner. Those are going to get 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. These here in the middle, like this, that's not a corner. You can see it's not a corner because it's in the middle. Those only get 3 double crochets. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, so into our next space here, which is not a corner, we do not chain 2. We immediately go right into 3 more double crochets. Okay, now we proceed on. All right, Becky, we proceed on, and again, here we are at a corner. So we're going to get our 3 double crochets. Add chain 2 and 3 more double crochets in the same space. Now, this is going to start to, you can see it already, it's going to start to ripple. Do not try and stop the ripple. It is because we are putting so many stitches in such a small space that it's going to do that. No worries. All right, now we are to a side space here. So we get no chain 2, 3 double crochets right in that space. And I am using a smaller hook. This is a G hook. Some of them are using all the way up to a K hook to do this cardigan. So, you know, your holes might look a little bigger than mine. I just wanted my holes to be a little bit smaller, so I didn't want to use a great big hook. I'm actually using a G, or a 4mm. Now again, no chain 2. Over here to our corner, we are going to get 3 double crochets. Now we get a chain 2 because we are in a corner space. And we are going to go back down in with 3 more double crochets in that same corner space. Okay. Next is a side space. We're not going to chain 2, straight into 3 double crochets in that space. And this is the repetition. You're going to do 3 double crochets in the side spaces, no chains between. In the corner spaces, you get 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Now, as we work through these knit alongs and crochet alongs, these are going to be pretty simple here if you are, we got our chain 2 here and 3 more double crochets in that corner space. We are going to build on what we are doing here with these knit and crochet alongs. I'm going to keep these going throughout, and I still have to finish this up. When we finish these, we'll take a little break, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and we will start another one. Everyone who is following along and working along with this gets to vote on what they want to do next. Now, we can do amigurumis, we can do bags, we can do, you know, wearables, whatever you want to do. I will work through, but I want to make sure that we are building on your skill level as we do different knit and crochet alongs so that you guys can... Yes, we will. Sherry, this will definitely be on there. Sherry, have you ever done granny squares before? So my next space again here is a side space, so only 3 double crochets, no chain 2. I am on the YT Mac, and I will be uploading these over to there for future viewing. I did create a folder for the knit along, and there will be one for the crochet along. Okay, Sherry, sorry about that, honey. Did you see the start? Were you here for the start? In the beginning, yes, Becky. In the very beginning down here, yes. And when it comes to connecting the rows together, no. Okay. Sherry, if you need help catching up at a later date, even if it's Monday, maybe Monday we'll do granny square so that you can get an understanding of the repetition for the granny square, and we can make a little coaster to go under our cup or something Monday. Again, we're onto a corner space, so we get 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets in that same space. So here's number 2 and number 3. Here's my chain 2 and 3 more double crochets in that same space. And there's the third one. And you can see it's really starting to ripple now, which is what it's supposed to do. This helps it fold up the way that it folds when we fold it. This one hexagon will be half of the sweater, front and back. Oh, no problem, Sherry. No problem at all. Okay, next space, just 3 double crochets. Do not chain 2 before you do the 3 double crochets in that space. The chain 2s only happen in the corner spaces. Okay, so we're to our last corner space here. We are going to do 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets in that same space. Let me check and make sure. For some reason that doesn't look right. We need to do, because we should have a space here in the middle. So here where we did our, right here, where we got our chain coming out for our stitch height, we are going to go in there, do not chain 2 prior to, we're going to go right in here and put 3 double crochets. And I must not be doing something right here. And then over here in the top of this double crochet, right here, we are going to do our slip stitch. So that way, in between your corner stitches, you should have a cluster all the way around. And we have all of our clusters there now. Now when we start up, we'll actually be starting in this gap right here. We have, let me show you a little bit better here. I'll bring it up a little closer on this round while everyone else is catching up. We have our corner space here, our next corner space here, and you should have 2 spaces in between your corners now. If you turn all your squares around, you should have 2 spaces between your corner points. And we do. 2 spaces, corner points. Okay, now this next row is going to be a little different. It's going to start out a little bit differently now. And each row hereafter will start out a little different. Now if you want to change color again, when you go to pull your slip stitch through, that's when you pull your new color through, so your colors don't blend up, because when you pull that stitch through, this goes up into your next color, which is your loop. So I'm going to do one more round before I change colors, and I am going to make a little notation. I think every 4 rounds I might change colors, but some of the color stripes I want to be thinner, so I might change, only do 1 round of certain colors. So alright, we're going to put our crochet hook back in here, and we're going to go ahead and start our next round. Now we are sitting in a space right here. We're sitting in a space. This is what I did wrong the last round, that I had to correct that space there. We are going to chain 3, and we are going to put our first cluster right here where we sit in this space. 2 double crochets, because the chain 3 counts as one of your doubles. Okay, so we now no chain 2. We're going to come over here to our corner space with 3 double crochets. And then we're going to chain 2 and 3 double crochets right in that same space, because that's our corner. Going a good bit slower than I normally would. 1, I'm teaching, and 2, I'm not trying to stress my hands too much just yet. Now we've finished our corner clusters here. We have 2 spaces here that aren't corners, so no chain 2. Immediately into the next 3 double crochets in the next space here. After this round, I will change colors. And still not a corner space, so no chain 2. Go right into 3 double crochets here. I see a little bit of lagging in my video. Are you guys seeing it on your side? I hope not. You got your first 6 clusters done. The next row, okay, you're seeing a little lag. I'm going to have to be extra careful to make sure that we don't get lost. After you've got your 6 clusters, Becky, your next round, your next round is going to be, Oh, and I think I pulled that back out of that blue. I did. Your next round is, if you're over a square, which you probably are, should be a center square, you're going to chain 3, and if there's a square immediately below you, you're going to put 3 double crochets. Then you're going to skip over to the corner and do just like you do your granny corners, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Your side spaces, you will not get a chain 2. You immediately go into double crochets. Okay? The only difference from making granny squares in this, Becky, is the side gaps here that aren't corner gaps don't get a chain 2. As you can see, there's no chain 2 between these. You only get chain 2s on your corners. Okay. I'm going to continue on here. We are going to a corner space, but we're not going to do our chain 2 here. It happens between the 3 double crochets that are in that corner space. So we're continuing on with 3 double crochets, a chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same space. It's almost just like doing a granny square, except we're not doing all the chain 2s between each space, only in the corners. Now we're going to go to our next space, directly, no chain 2, right into the 3 double crochets. Yes, only in the corners. Only chain 2 in between the 3 double crochets that fall in the corner spaces. All the other spaces just get 3 double crochets, no chain 2, right over to the next space, and 3 more double crochets. As we get bigger, there will be more spaces on the side, and you will not double crochet between any of those spaces on those sides. All right, here we are to a corner, 3 double crochets, a chain 2, 3 more doubles. All right. Next space, directly into 3 double crochets. The next space that we have here, again, right into 3 more double crochets. Corner space, we're going right into 3 double crochets again. Here's our chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same space. That turns our corner there. It's really starting to ripple now, and it's supposed to. So continuing on, 3 more double crochets. And when I get to the end of this round, I will do a color change and possibly one more round. I can't believe that we've already been on here an hour already. 3 more double crochets in the next space. And as my hands get better, we'll be able to do this for longer, but I'm probably only going to do the color change and the row for the color change. And then I'll end the live for today. And next week should be a lot better because I'm not doing as much knitting through the week as I was doing. So I should recover pretty good. I've got some other things that I can do to occupy my time while I let my hands heal and my carpal tunnel, crawl back in the cave where it came from. And next Friday we should be able to go for a pretty good while. Now mind you, if you want to work on this on your own, you can. If you are adventurous, if you are new and feel a little less confident, you can wait till next week. I will not be working on this other than during the knit along and crochet along. So if you want to wait, I will be right where you stop. As long as you have finished out the row. I'm going to make sure to finish out the rows before I end. Okay, now this one here. When we come up here, we are, at the end of this row, we are going to join these two together. No chains. We're going to go right into the top of that chain that we started, which is our first, counts as our first double crochet in that row. And we are going to go through, if it will let me, through the top of that stitch there. And we are going to perform a slip stitch. Now this is where I'm going to do my color change. Okay. I think, trying to decide, I think I'm going to go to this reef color here and do it first and then do the brown. So again, to change colors, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. I fold the yarn back over itself. I give myself about 3 or 4 inches of tail here, okay, so that I can weave that in later. And when I wrap that around my finger and pull it back on itself, there's a little loop right there. Okay, you're going to go grab some yarn to change colors, not a problem. Let me know when you're back, because that's all right, Twisted. This will be on the YT for you to follow along with later. So no issues. If you're here Monday after the basic stitches, I'm going to get Sherry caught up because she had life happened. So I know that everyone will not be here on Thursday and Friday. The reason why I did it Thursdays and Fridays is you can look at it over the weekend. If you have any questions, Monday I'm here doing basic stitches. I can extend the basic stitches Monday to help with the knit along or the crochet along catch up. Hey, hippie! While we're waiting for Ladybug to come back. Sherry, if you go back to my profile page, right above my videos, there is a link, tree link. In there is the link for direct access. My name is the same across all my platforms. Okay, no problem. Your hook gets stuck. If your hook gets stuck, you're probably not twisting it and you're catching it in the threads, or you are knitting a little too tight. If you hear that yarn squeaking, you might be, or knitting, you might be crocheting a little too tight. I'm sorry. Knit is my favorite yarn usage craft, so I say knit a lot. Now, I put my needle through, or my hook through the top of the chain 3 that we did at the start of the row to start performing my slip stitch. Now, Ladybug, I fold my yarn back and give myself about 3 or 4 inches of overlay, and I make a little loop right there where it folds over in half. Okay, we're going to put that loop on our crochet hook. Make sure I got all the threads there. And we are going to pull that through both loops as if to finish up our slip stitch. Now what I'm going to do is gently, I'm going to take the tail of the new yarn and I'm going to go ahead and clip this old yarn off that I'm not using anymore. And I'm just going to tie those together loosely. Right here, just like that. I don't want to pull too tight because you'll tighten up your stitches. Alright, Twisted, not a problem. I can help you with that on Monday if you're available. I might be on early Monday morning, so if you're up early and on, I can get anybody who's caught up that wants to. I can do that for you first thing Monday morning. Now what we're going to do is just continue on like what we had done before. And this is what's confusing me a little bit, because we are going to chain 2 here, and we're going to come over to this first gap right here, and we are going to start again with our double crochets. Double crochets, yes. Put 3 double crochets in that space. And we are going to go up to our corner space here. No chain 2. We are going to do 3 double crochets. And here comes our chain 2. 3 more double crochets in the same space. Alright, now we're going to go over to the next space, directly into 3 double crochets, no chain 2. Okay, over to the next space, no chains, right into 3 double crochets. Next space again, no chain 2s because we're not to the corner yet. 3 more double crochets. I think I've got this upside down. Pull some of this out. Alright, now we're at our corner space. 3 more double crochets. Chain 2, and 3 more double crochets in the same space. When I upload this to the YT, I will put the directions in as how to start and what to do on each corresponding row. I think I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 5 rows. I will put all 5 rows in there. And then, yeah, it'll take TikTok a couple hours to process my video before it's ready to be downloaded. And that will be later this evening. So they will definitely be in there before tomorrow morning, if not first thing tomorrow morning, which I'm normally up fairly early, so I will make sure that they are on, that they're in there. And all I'm doing now is working in each space over to the corner, 3 double crochets in each space, no chain 2 in between. The chain 2 is now only happening when you put 2 clusters in the same space, and that's only on the corners. Okay, here we are to our corner. 3 double crochets. Chain 2. 3 more double crochets in your corner. Alright, on to the next square, no chain 2, and right straight into 3 more double crochets. Next space, again, right straight into 3 double crochets. Shirley, the video for the knit has already been uploaded to the YT. If you have not found or subscribed to my YT account yet, back on my profile page there's a Linktree link. Yeah, the crochet isn't on there yet, but it will be on there either this evening or early tomorrow morning, depending on how long it takes TikTok to process this video. Alright, I'm in my corner square, so I'm doing 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And we are continuing right on around. Next space, just 3 double crochets. Straight on, 3 more double crochets in the next space. Next space again, 3 more double crochets. Alright, now we're to our corner space, so we are going to get 3 double crochets. Thank you for the likes, guys. Hey, Cindy. A chain 2, 3 more double crochets. Now, when I get done this round, it should be big enough that I can show you how to fold it. Some of you might be making this for toddlers, children, baby dolls, whatever, whoever you're making it for. You will know how to fold this. Again, side square, 3 double crochets. I'll show you how to fold it so that when we get further up in size, you can fold it over your arm, because if you don't want the big belled sleeves, we can do it without the big belled sleeves. You still have your length and everything else. Okay, corner space, 3 double crochets, a chain 2, there's my chain 2, 3 more double crochets. I do have a double crochet tutorial in my profile. And if you could not follow along today, please hit me up on Monday during Basic Stitches. I will be here at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I can help anyone after we go through the basic stitches. Or I might be on early Monday morning. Here's our last square here. We are going to do our 3 double crochets here in this square, and then we are going to attach here into the top of the first double crochet from the first cluster that we did with a slip stitch. Okay, and you can see this is ruffling up. You can try and flatten it out, but it's just going to pop up elsewhere. It's going to ruffle, and it's going to ruffle a whole lot worse than this. So, thank you, Becky, for the heart me. Now, what you're going to do to be able to fold this up to measure, and I know that this is really, really small, okay, but I don't know if you're making this for children, if you're making this for adults. You can make this for baby dolls with smaller thread. You're going to isolate off one side to where it's flat. Now, it might be doing just like this. It's fine. It's going to do like that, but you're going to isolate off this one flat side, okay? You are going to take this bottom corner, okay? It's this bottom corner. Yes. And you're going to fold it over to this corner. And then the next corner, which is right here, you're going to fold up here, and you're going to see you're going to get like a little L shape. This is half a sweater. This is a sleeve, and this is the body. Okay? It should be there soon, Rachel. Let me check here while you're in here. But this is how we are going to see if the sweater fits us or not. We are going to fold this up like this. Of course, you're not going to fit it now unless you're super, super tiny. And if you are, yay you. I've got a loop there, and I don't know how that loop got there. Okay, I'll have to probably restart mine because I don't like that. But, or I'll weave it in, one or the other. But yeah, that's not supposed to be there. But as it gets bigger, you can fold it up like this. You can put a couple of stitch markers in here, little safety pins, and you can take your arm and slide it in there and try and see if the arm is the size you want it to be. Some people don't like the big bell arms. You don't have to have the big bell arms. Okay, so as we go along, I will instruct you at what point, if you don't want the big bell arms, how to continue on with your piece, and everyone else will keep going bigger, bigger, bigger. Okay, so for now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. You can count your holes from the center for your corner. If you isolate your corner off here, start at your center circle and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've completed 5 rounds. So we are a fifth of the way there, believe it or not. And if you do want to continue on, you feel adventurous, you can continue on. I'm going to leave my square here at this point so that I'm right where those of you who are a little less confident about continuing on your own, this is where we will pick back up next Thursday, or Friday, Friday. Okay, if anyone has had any issues, I will be on here Monday. I could be on as early as 6:30 in the morning. But I will definitely be on at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to do my basic stitches teaching for the knit and crochet, and for anyone who needs help catching up on this, I will be doing that Mondays. Thank you, Cindy. And I want to thank everyone for joining me today. If you have any issues, send me a message. If any issues whatsoever. It's getting better slowly, Becky. I just have to, Christina, you're very welcome. I just have to be gentle on my hands and stuff for now. I did work straight through, and I know Rachel's still here, probably waiting. Rachel, I'm sorry. If you're not here, I will send you a message. But I need to jump up here real quick. But you should receive it today. Soon. It is still in transit, Rachel. Let me see here what they have done with it. I sent out a whole bunch of tracking numbers. I probably did not send you yours. If I did not, I am sorry. It should be there today. It says 2:45 and 3:45 today. The last yarn I used, it is called Reef. It is a red heart variegated yarn. It really looks jewel toned, and it really looks almost like it's got a sparkle to it, but it doesn't. It's just next to this white yarn. It really does. I did another sweater with these colors, this white, this Reef, and I'm going to use a brown with it, a dark brown. This color here, I have it in a bag. It's a dark brown. And it really makes these jewel tones in here pop. So, yeah, I'm really, I like mixing colors together. Different elements to keep in theme. I really like these colors in the sweater that I did, so I chose to keep going with these with my sweater here. Thank you for the follow. So we will be back next Friday for the crochet along continuation. Anyone who has any issues, again, hit me up on Monday. I will be here. You'll go buy those colors. Yeah, the Reef is really pretty when you get to doing it. So I'm probably going to do maybe another round of the Reef and go to the brown, and then go back for 5 more rows of white and just do 2 stripes of this and that. Yeah. So, but yeah, they are very pretty colors. So, thank you for joining me. Rachel, if you're not still in here, my classes normally run about an hour. But if you're up early in the morning, I could be on as early as 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just on here doing whatever. And I stop and help whoever has any questions. So, yeah, I set it up. My sweater is, I don't know if you like it oversized or if you don't like it oversized. I wear a 3X. So my sweater's going to have the big baggy sleeves, and my sweater might be oversized enough that it'll fit somebody that's a 4 or 5X. It just depends. So, when you're working your sweater, if you like, okay, do you like the big belled type sleeves, Ladybug? If you don't, I can show you where to stop so you don't have the big belled sleeves. And it's all going to be customized to each person. You do like them. Okay. So I will go through with the belled sleeves. For those of you who don't like the belled sleeves, I will show you where to stop with going around and around and around, and you'll just extend your sleeve out until we start the next square. And anyone who likes a shorter sweater, you will stop making your hexagon in the round once you get it as long as you want it. And I'll show you all that about how to try it on and see where it falls, even though, how do you try on a hexagon? Yeah, I'll show you. Gigi, thank you for the follow. So catch me next Friday. If you have any issues, I will be available this coming Monday to help anyone get caught up on either knit or crochet along that we just started this week. And if you're new, I will be doing basic stitches. Ladybug, I did put a video in. I will tag you with that video to let you know exactly, well, not exactly, but on average how much yarn you will need. It depends on what hook size you use. If you use the hook size that they recommend, which was like a J or a K, if you use a smaller hook size, you might do more rows. You might not need extra yarn. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I will tag you with that video that I did with that information. If you're interested in the knit along that we had yesterday and you want to join, I did link My Comfiest Cardigan, is the name of the pattern, in my bio, in my Linktree link. It will give you an estimation on the amount of yarn you need per size. We are not following that sweater pattern at all. It was just linked for yarn amounts that were needed. Okay? Quarters, thank you for the follow. Okay, Ladybug, if you want to learn, I'm here on Mondays to teach the basic stitches and the cast on. I teach it live right here, no charge. So join me on Monday and have a US size 8 knitting needles and some worsted weight yarn, and I can teach you how to knit. Okay? All right. So thank you everyone for joining me today. If you did recently follow me today, go back and click on my little icon right there. And on my profile page, there's a little bell. Click on that bell and select all notifications. Excuse me. You will be notified when I go live every single time, and you will be notified whenever I post a video. Cindy, you have a great day too. Tammy, thank you for the follow. So, catch me next week. Thank you for joining me. May all your stitch counts match, and happy crafting.